Welcome back to Lake Lot Build. My name is John, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about drywall. Good morning and welcome back to Lake Lot Build. My name is John, and today I'm wearing a different hat. Actually, this was sent to me by one of the fans for the show, and he's like, man, you got all these different hats you're wearing. I'm like, I'm gonna send you one. I said, all right. So today it's a little cold out, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna use this hat. But let's go inside and we'll get started with today's episode. And the first part of it is I'm gonna show you. My wife and I have been hanging drywall, and so I put it on the walls here in the garage that we're ready for it. So let me turn around and I'll show you what we've been working on. So I have the 10-foot ceilings in here, and that will be for the first floor, and it's all by design. And so I was able to use my 10-foot 4x10 pieces of 1/2-inch drywall. So we hung those up, and it looks good. Have all the electrical set, all the wiring done, and so they went on pretty easy. It's pretty much like putting regular drywall up in a regular house. It was really easy. I had marked, I'll show you here. So I marked on the floor where they hit, and to make sure that I have, I have a Fox block line right here at the joint, and we're running perfect. So what we did is put enough screws in it to hold everything in place, and then I'll come back with my scaffolding here, and then I'll put all the screws in. But I had some extra hands helping me, so I wanted to put as many panels up as fast as possible since she was here, and we did real well. Now I'm going to go over the installation of the drywall on the ICF block now. So what we'll do is I'm going to start in this corner, because this is the manufactured corner, which starts with the Fox block, a nailing flange right there. So when you come over 4 feet, you'll hit it right there. And so we can go from right to left and hit, I think it's this one, before we hit our common joint. And the common joint won't line up exactly because there's a little bit of squeeze whenever they were putting that together. So we'll measure that one to the wall that's over there. So now we'll go get a full sheet. We'll get to start with a full sheet here. Then we'll mark on the drywall for the holes. We'll cut the holes out, all that jazz. So here we go. I'm in my master bedroom right now. I'm going to show you what has been done so far. So there's a window, there's my HVAC unit, and of course I'll go over it again. The reason I had to put my HVAC unit in is because the pipes on the outside had to be pulled because they have the caps that go on it, and that is for my outside steel siding. Now for this unit, what I'll do is I'll turn it off and I'll bag it, and so that it doesn't get dust in it. And I've been checking it every other day just to make sure that the drywall dust that I'm creating by cutting the drywall isn't affecting it. And so far, so good. So right now you can tell it's off, even though it's 25 degrees outside. The house is so insulated, it literally is not even on. Typically you want to put your ceiling in first, so that very edge piece the wall piece pushes up against it and it doesn't have a chance for it to have any sag. It takes it out any of the pull from gravity wanting to pull that down. So it's always a nice thing to make sure to do your ceiling first and then your walls. So the last thing before I start I wanted to show you is my can lights. Now, I have them wired and I have the drops right here. So I have a drop that's right there. Now the nice thing with the lights that I'm using an LED light, which is just the LED light, and it's got the springs on it. If you remember from the other episodes, I showed you how one worked. What's so neat is you just cut your circle, right? And I've cut my circle, which is right there. And then I'll feed the wire through it as I go up. And it hangs down. And then you come back, snip your wires, make your connections, and then it pops in there. I literally just set my guide on my circle cutter at 6 inches, which you can clearly see right here. You just set it at 6 inches, and that is your center point, and that is the circumference as it comes around, which this would be the actual radius of it right here. And then as it spins for the whole circumference all the way around, it cuts you a perfect circle each time. This guide is half of a real inch. So 5 to 7 would be a real inch, but that 5 to 6 is only ½ inch. So that means this guy moving ever so slightly in or out could be 1/8 of an inch out. So you have to make sure that that guy is right on it. And if you notice, I'm just slightly inside of 6. And that is because I'm going to go on the outside of that bit, not in the center of that bit, but on the outside of that bit. So as it makes it circle around, it's actually right at 6. I know it sounds a little bit like super detailed, but that is the difference between that thing fitting in there perfect or moving around, or maybe that hole might be too big and you see an actual lip on it, which means you got to come back and put your mud on it. So, okay, before we get moving on there, I was going to show you how I cut the circle out real quick, just so you can see how one of these rotary tools, there's different brands, RotoZip, Makita, DeWalt, they all make all of them. But the biggest thing that you want, of course, is the piece that allows you to make the circle. So you can draw the circle, right, and then try to freehand it, but this one, of course, makes it very accurate. So what I'll do is my bit is a little bit longer, so when this pokes in, I'm not going to push it all the way in where it's flat, and you'll see why. So what I'll do is I'll start just a little bit inside, go in, and then come down to it, and then start my circle. Okay, so here we go. Perfect circle. So that is where the can light comes through and the wire goes through. So now I'm going to put it on the ceiling. Okay, so that's how you put it in the ceiling with with my trusty little drywall jack. I picked this up at Harbor Freight. I think it was less than $300, but I tell you what, it has saved me so much back-breaking work to be able to be down here and hang drywall by myself. So it's worked out really well. Okay, it's a Sunday morning, and I actually have the whole family down here with me. And my little man is putting in drywall screws for me. Look at that. I'll watch him. Hey, sweetie, how are you?
Good morning.
Look at that, like a champ. Now I have to tell myself because, you know, I was putting all these drywall screws in on my impact driver and I might go through the paper a few times. So I was online and I came across this little guy right here, and it's specifically made for drywall screws. In all my years, I've never seen it. I don't know if it was because, you know, when I first started doing drywall, we were using nails, and I just had never come across it. So now we have the drywall screw setter, specifically, comes in a pack, and I got some more of them here. So I got all the impact drivers. So I brought the family down to help me put all the screws in, because what I did was I hung my sheets, got them situated, did the borders, and then came back and put the lines in for the studs right here. And so now we can we can hang these, but I can have my little man putting in screws for us to keep it, so we can speed this up and make it look good. So, baby, are you ready to do some drywall hanging?
Ready.
All right, here we go.
We'll do next time. So thanks for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.